Good morning. Good morning. Woo! I am fired up today. What's up, everybody? Hey, can I get everybody to do a little shoulder shrug, a little movement? Let's get some vibes going this morning, all right? Let's get some energy rocking. I'm feeling good. David Speck, I like that little Come on. Good morning, Brock. Good morning, Latrice. Good morning, John, Jeremy, Lisa, James, Kathy. Woo! It's gonna be a good one today. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy Wednesday. All right, I'm gonna bring the heat today. I woke up at 4:40 this morning, and as you know, I'm in Tennessee, so it's only 7:15. And I feel like I've been up all day. I feel like I have just, whew, I got a lot of energy. So bear with me. I'm going to get really excited today. And I've got a couple things I want to share as I reflected in the new year, 2026. I was thinking about what was the most impactful thing that I learned in 2025. And I do this the first week after the year ends, and then I do it the first week of February. And funny enough, when I was doing this last week, I woke up early. I went on YouTube because I watch, podcasts very often. And the first episode on YouTube was one of my episodes from the Impact Effect podcast. And it was a good friend of mine that I was interviewing, Dr. Justin Mosley. And for some reason, I just skipped ahead maybe 3 or 4 minutes. And Dr. Justin was talking about the power of insights over information. And Dr. Justin Mosley, look him up. He did a TEDx talk. I've drove to Delaware to support him, right? As you know, human connection's important to me. Relationships are important. So I wanted to support my friend. I drove from Nashville to Delaware to see his TEDx talk. Dr. Justin's TEDx talk has hit over 1 million views since he did it in the last year. And he talks a lot about fear and how excitement feels the same, and you can decide fear or excitement, and it's a great TEDx talk. So I'd advise you to look it up. But we're not going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about what Dr. Justin said to me and how he impacted me the most. Again, I would write this down. Insights over information. Insights over information. So as I was reflecting around 2025, and I watched that podcast of me and Dr. Justin on my show, my podcast show, Impact Effect with Jim Morris, that really stood out to me. And I was like, okay, insights over information. Well, it had me thinking, how many books did I read in 2025? How many podcasts did I actually do in 2025? How many podcasts did I watch? How many YouTube videos did I watch? And I went back and I spent about 2.5 hours on this, and I realized that I read 19 books in 2025. I watched 96 podcasts, and I did 40 of my own podcasts. Well, Jim, who gives a shit, right? Who really cares what you did? Who really cares how much you did, right? It doesn't really matter. But I was thinking about that episode with Dr. Justin, and I said, well, it's a shitload of information, folks. Like, that's a lot of books. That's a lot of pages. I did a lot of podcasts for my show. I was on podcasts, and then I watched a bunch of podcasts. I consumed a ton of information in 2025. But what's the insights that I learned in 2025? What's the nuggets that have fallen on my heart? What's the little pieces of information that I remembered? And I sat there and I thought, okay, all right, Jim, you consumed a lot of information. You spent a lot of hours. And it had me thinking, we live in a world of information overload. Does anybody agree? Can you throw a five in the chat if you think we're living in a world of information overload? Five, five, five. Brock put 37,000 fives. All right, let's go. James, Jeremy. Okay. Kat. Yep. All right. So we're in agreement, right, Jill? Hunter, Tanya, Mildred. All right. All right. We're flowing this morning, baby. I'm back to those shoulder shrugs. Um, we live in a digital world. There's information coming at us. We're told to read a million books. We're told to consume a million podcasts. We listen to Audible. We're on social media. There's so much information coming our way. So it had me thinking, how much of that am I actually retaining? Right? I see some head nods. How much do you think we're actually retaining out of all of that information? So what it did and what Jim does is, as an oxymoron, what do I go do? Start to look up more information. And as I'm going down this path, as I'm looking up more information, what I'm seeing is very, very proven statistics. Did you know that we forget 50% of the information we consume within the first 24 hours? If you knew that, put a one in the chat. All right, Jeremy knew that. Joseph knew that. Coach, all right, we got some smart people because I did not know that. I did not know that. I was like, all right. So all that effort, all that information went right in one ear, right out the other ear within 24 hours. Now, what did I do again? I started looking at more information, started looking at more statistics. Okay. And what I have found next, scientifically proven, right? I'm not making these numbers up. What I found next, 80% of that information we lose within the first week. We lose 50% of the information. We don't retain 50% in 24 hours. And we don't retain 80% of that information within the first week. So, what I want to share with you today, and I want to push you to do, based on this information that I observed, that I studied, is I want you to start thinking about insights instead of information. Okay? And it's funny because when I woke up this morning, I was talking about an event that I'm promoting here in Nashville. And I went on my phone and I was thinking about, okay, you can read all these books, you can do all these things. And what's the point if you're not retaining the information? My event is at this location, Music City Work Club. And this is our library themed conference room. And Brock has a story about this room. I'm sure he can share it at a later time if he feels the need. Something amazing happened to Brock in this room when he came. And as you know, this is the Music City Work Club where the Nashville Success Summit was, right? This is the conference room in the back. And I made a post today about how many books you can read and how much information you can process on my Facebook. And what's the point? We have to take action and we have to apply the information. We have to apply the insights. So my question to you today is how often are you looking for an insight, a nugget, a small piece of information rather than writing down everything you hear, reading every single book that's recommended, listening to every single podcast? So that's the first thing I want to share. And I also want to share this because when Brock was talking a couple weeks ago, I was listening for an insight. And he had told me how he's helping some folks on the real estate team with us here at Real. He's helping them get up early. And we need to start the day positively. We need to buy back some time if we're going to make impact, if we're going to make real changes. Right? Have we heard Brock say that before? Can you put a 7 in the chat if you heard him say that? All right, we've heard it. We've heard it multiple times. I see Brock smiling over there. He's like, yeah, I say this 14 times a day, 18 times a week, 370,000 million times a year. That was an insight for me. And what that insight did is it had a lot of impact on me. Brock texts me, and remember, I'm in Central Time, so I'm an hour behind him. Brock texts me, and it was 3:47 this morning when I got his text. Guess what I was doing? I was up. I was up because I'm getting up early. My wife actually texts me, "Babe, you've been leaving the house early. What's going on?" Right? Because I come to Music City Work Club. I office out of here. I need to get going. I need to do what I need to do. So that insight not only impacted me, but it also impacted James on this call. You know why it impacted James? Because impact has a ripple effect. So I'm waking up early. I'm working with James on our real estate team here at Real. And now he's waking up early. And I'm texting James. And James is texting me every single morning. And James didn't wake up early on Tuesday. And I texted him. And he got up. And he did what he needed to do. And he kept moving. He kept going. And he kept creating the impact that he can give to the world because he's up early. He's 1 hour ahead of what he's doing. He has more time to help people, more time to put people in homes, more time to prospect, more time to create impact, more time to help people. Put a 1 in a chat if you want to create impact, if you want to listen to insights, and you want that impact to ripple. Because at the end of the day, what are we actually here for, folks? And guess what? We don't even know how long we're going to be here for. We need to create impact. We need to share that impact with people, and we need to listen for insights. Yesterday's call, Brock said something that hit me. And if you noticed in yesterday's call, yesterday morning, I was in the chat, right? Brock's running it. I'm popping my insights into the chat. And one of the things that I said, you can suck but not skip. Thank you, Brock. That was my insight from yesterday. If you took that insight away from the show yesterday from Brock, put a 10 in the chat, please. Show Brock some love. I don't know about you folks, but yesterday's show with Brock, whew, had me emotional, had me thinking deeply, had me writing my insights down. That real raw, that truth, you can't ignore the truth. You can't ignore this gentleman's heart, how he shows up, how he pushes through. And yeah, I did send him a 3-minute voicemail, and I did call him a badass, and I did tell him about his impact, and I did remind him of what he's doing day in and out. And I want to remind you today, listen for the insights, create that impact, and share it with the world. You have no idea how much someone needs to hear your insights, and they don't have to be your own. That's the best part about this family, right? I don't need to do it alone. I don't need to find all the insights to change my life. I can show up here. I can get loved on by every single speaker that comes on, every single episode, every single person in the chat. I'm feeling loved right now. I see 96 messages on my chat, and I'm being impacted by you. I'm being impacted by your presence. I'm being impacted by your comments. I'm being impacted by your love. Throw a 10 in the chat if you believe that you have to give love to gain love. Throw a 10 in the chat if you believe you have to give love to gain love. All right, I got 14 minutes. I'm rolling today. I'm rolling. Let me get my thoughts together. All right. So, I want to share two other things, and I'm going to give you insights. I'm not going to give you a ton of information. When I was reflecting back on 2025, what came to me was this wheel of information from all the books I read, from all the conversations, from all the podcasts I did, from one of my mentors, Robert Hartline. If you were at the Nashville Success Summit, you heard his story. He scaled his business to 100 million. He was the speaker who said, we need to tell each other we love them. Men, you need to say, I love you, bro, to other men, right? Fred, I know that was impactful for you. Brock, I know that was impactful for you. We had a lot of conversations around that. And he talked about, and I heard, and it's funny because I heard this and I read this probably 20 times last year in different capacities, whether it was a speaker, whether it was a conversation with someone that I admire, whether I was in the green room with someone else, and there we were talking about this. But he talked about these four quadrants, and I would write this down. The first quadrant in your life, you need to feed your body. So, body. Second quadrant, you need to focus on your mind. Body, number one. Mind, number two. Spirit, number three. Spirituality, right? And that fourth quadrant, relationships. Out of all those books that I read, out of all those podcasts, out of all those appearances, out of all those conversations I had in 2025, what I realized most was if I'm going to look for insights, I need to put my life into these four quadrants. We need to feed the body. So that's getting your exercise. I don't care what you do. I don't care how often you do it. You got to move. You got to do it. And Brock has pushed me more and more to focus on the body. He ripped me one last week. I see him smiling because he knows it's true. He ripped me. He said, dude, if you're going to push me, if you're going to push me to be more impactful, if you're going to push me to finish a book, if you're going to push me to speak on more stages and be in green rooms with you, dude, I'm going to push you. And he ripped me. And I needed every second of it because I know it's out of love and I know how important it is. So that's body. Focus on the mind. You are on right now. Can I get a one in the chat to give yourself some love? I want to hear some self-love. One in the chat if you love yourself, because guess what, folks? You're on this call. This is a mindset show. You are here early in the morning focusing on your mind. You're already winning. Sometimes we got to pat ourselves on the back, our own back, right? Sometimes we have to fill our cup. You are already doing this, folks. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to you. Third, spirituality. If you're on the prayer calls, if you join us when we come off mute on some of our sessions, right? And it doesn't matter what your spirituality is. What I'm saying with this is you have to schedule out time for this, okay? For me, it's in the shower in the morning. It's when I talk to God. And then I get in the car and I drive to work, and it's in the car. I used to listen to gangster rap in the car, right? I was born in 89. I'm a 90s kid. I like Dr. Dre. I like all those. Snoop, right? I used to listen to gangster rap. Gangster rap doesn't feed my mind. Gangster rap doesn't feed my spirit. So in the car, I don't listen to music anymore. I don't listen to podcasts. I talk to God. And then that last one, relationships. The radical truth about relationships is you have to give love to gain love. Whenever I'm having a shitty day, whenever I'm having a bad day, right? Brock was so honest and vulnerable with us yesterday about the IRS and his kids and his family. I had a bad day the other day. Same day that he told me that, I was having a bad day. When I'm having a bad day, and here's an insight for you folks, I'd write this down. When you're having a bad day, when your mind isn't right, go love on 5 people. You can do voice memos. You can do text messages. Everybody thinks, oh, I got to call everybody and have a 45-minute conversation. Oh, I don't have time for that. I'm already having a shitty day. I need to go sell more houses. I need to go sell more packages. I need to do more deals. No, you don't. It's an excuse that you're telling yourself. What you need to do is you need to sit there and think about 5 people, the first 5 people. Close your eyes, the 5 people that come to your mind. Just think about it. Who do I want to love on? Who do I want to love on? Who do I want to love on? Boom. Someone comes to mind, send a text message. You have to take action. Action breeds clarity. Action breeds clarity. When it happens, take action. When that person comes in your mind, send that message. And guess what? I'll give you the script. You could create your own script. What's up, sister? Was thinking about you. How the heck are you? What's up, brother? You're on my heart today. How's things? Yo, yo, what's the deal? You popped into my head. I wanted to send some love. That's it. Or you can call Brock at 10:30 p.m. and send him a 3-minute voicemail and pour your heart out because how much you love him. You can do that too. And then text him right when you wake up and say, listen to that damn voicemail I sent you last night. That's an option. But think about it. Doesn't it feel good when you love on someone? Doesn't it feel good when you check in with someone? I promise you this. If you send 5 messages out of pure love, if you check in on people, if you remind them how grateful you are. I sent one out this morning. I'm proud of you. I was thinking about you. I was on the can when I did that this morning, so you have no excuse. I was using the restroom and I'm thinking about people sending text messages. It takes 90 seconds to take it from a thought to a voice note, a voice memo, a thought to a text message. Give me a 10 in the chat if you're going to love on 5 people today. I want to see commitment. I want to see every single person on this call put a 10 because you have to give love to gain love. This is how you build relationships. You don't build relationships by texting someone you met 6 weeks ago and saying, hey, remember, I sell houses. You want to buy a house? Doesn't work. You take action. You love on people. You care about them. And guess what, folks? I was doing this 25 messages a day, 7 days a week at one point because that's how broken my mind was. It's how broken my heart was. I was depressed, and how I got out of it was 25 of these messages a day. So you have no excuse. And I'll give you another insight. If you can't think of 25 new people a day, go use social media. Social media is your CRM. Go on social and DM people. Hey, dude, I saw you were just in Tampa Bay. I went there 4 years ago. You popped into my mind. Just wanted to check in, see how you're doing. How are things? Like you have a database of information on Facebook and Instagram of what people are doing, how they're living their life, what they're focused on. If you can't think of people to love on, pull up your feed and use your feed for positivity. Use your feed for love. Rather than looking at all the drama, all the BS, all the politics, go on your feed and shoot some DMs to people. If you don't have their cell phone number, do the private message. It's easy. And you can do voice memos now on Instagram and Facebook. And from a prospecting standpoint, like sales, and I've taught a class on this, the best type of message is a voice memo because people can feel your smile through your tone. People can feel your love through your voice. Brock, I just wanted to let you know, man. I know you're having a hard time. Dude, I love you, dude. Like you're a badass. You're gonna get through this, man. There's a reason why this is happening. There's a story to be told. There's a lesson to be learned. And guess what, bro? You impact so many people and you do this show and it's hard and you grind and you get through it and you love on so many people that this is a story that's going to change someone's life. This is happening for a reason, and you are going to create a ripple effect from this, and it is going to be a positive thing. Just remember about all the impact you've given and all the impact you're about to give. I love you, dude. I'm proud of you, and I absolutely admire you. How can I help you? Let me know where I can show up, how I can show up, and I'm going to check in on you tomorrow. What did that take me? 26 seconds to say that? All right. The last thing that I want to share, because I'm probably over time, because I'm all jazzed, or I got a couple minutes, right? Okay. The last thing I want to share is remember how I said action breeds clarity? That was an insight I wanted to share with you. I was looking up when I was going down my information spiral the other day, right? About all these statistics and, you know, information and retaining information and how long it stays with you. I looked up decision fatigue. We have, on average, 35,000 decisions to make per day that run through our brain. And I'm looking at my notes because I'm like, holy cow, did I put 35,000 instead of 3,500? No, it's 35,000 decisions come through our mind a day. You know what the easiest way to not loop through those decisions day after day after day after day is to make a decision. When we something comes in our head and I'm like, let me think about that. Let me get back to you. Now I'm thinking about that every single day, subconsciously and consciously, until I get back to that person. It might not be at the forefront of my brain, but it's in my subconscious. 40% of our daily stress on average comes from looping, comes from decisions of the past that we haven't made yet. Have you ever been in a situation where you're like, I got to make a tough phone call? And it's like in the morning time, and then it's 1 o'clock, and you've thought about it 57,000 times. And then it's 3 o'clock, and you've thought about it another 57,000 times. And then it's 5 o'clock, and you're like, you know what? I'll make it at 6. I'm going to do it at 6. And then 6 comes around, and you're like, fuck it. I'll do it tomorrow. Everybody's shaking their head that's on video right now because we do this all the time. It's called looping. It's giving you 40% of your stress because you're not making a decision. Now, I'm not telling you to make risky decisions or stupid decisions, and I do believe that things take time and you should go to mentorship. You should go to people you love, people that love you, people that you trust. You should ask Brock. You should reach out to me. You should reach out to anybody on this call that has either faced these decisions or has been in similar situations, right? Because we're looking for those insights, not just bland information. We're looking for those insights of people who have walked the path, people who have done the hard thing. But how many decisions do you have to make today that you're not making? How many decisions are you looping? Folks and friends, we create a lot of our own stress. And that's an insight that I want to leave you with this morning as I end the call. And I know I talked a lot because I was fired up. I started with my shoulder shrugs, and I've been up early because Brock's been pushing me. But I want you to make a decision. And my challenge to you today is, what decision do you have to make that you haven't made? I want you to make a decision. I want you to get out of the loop. And I want you to put a 10 in the chat as we wrap this up. If you are going to make a decision today that you know you had to make that you haven't. Let's go. We got some decision makers on the call. Let's go. All right. Thank you all for being here. My time is up. I love each and every one of you. I'm so grateful for this community. Please reach out if you need anything. As you know, I coach people one-on-one. I have a marketing company, a book writing and book publishing company. If you need any help, if you need any insights, please let me know. You can find me at Real Jim Morris, realjimmorris.com. You can find me here because I love this community and this group. Please reach out. I'm happy to help you. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Cheers.